Greetings from South Korea. I am Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news making headlines today. Oil prices surged back to the $100 per barrel level on Thursday as the war with Iran showed no clear signs of ending, heightening fears of prolonged disruptions to global energy supplies. Brent crude jumped 9.2% to settle at $100.46 per barrel, reflecting mounting concerns that the conflict could significantly affect oil production and shipments across the Persian Gulf. Analysts warn that any sustained disruption in the region, which accounts for a large share of the world's crude exports, could trigger a renewed surge in global inflation and weigh on economic growth. The national average gasoline price at gas stations as of Friday at 10 a.m. hit 1,883.79 Korean won, or roughly $1.26. This is around 15 won lower than the previous day and marks the third consecutive day of decline even as global oil prices hit $100 per barrel and continue their upward trend. This comes as the South Korean government has implemented a temporary price cap on domestic fuel. The government will review and reset these maximum prices every 2 weeks, taking into account developments in the Middle East and global oil trends. It is also preparing additional measures, such as potential fuel tax cuts and targeted subsidies for vulnerable groups if the situation worsens. President Lee Jae-myung is set to meet the leaders of Indonesia in France next month as they travel to South Korea on state visits. In a written briefing on Friday, Blue House spokesperson Kang Yoo-jung said Lee will sit down with Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto on April 1st for talks on advancing their special strategic partnership. President Subianto last visited South Korea last October for the APEC Leaders Summit. Then on April 3rd, Lee will hold a summit with French President Emmanuel Macron. The trip will be Macron's first to Korea and the first state visit by a European leader since Lee took office. The two leaders are expected to discuss cooperation in trade, advanced technology, as well as regional and global issues. Just hours after South Korea's National Assembly passed a special investment bill, Prime Minister Kim Min-seok met U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance in Washington to discuss overall bilateral relations. The Prime Minister's office in Seoul said Vance welcomed the Parliament's passage of the bill to implement Seoul's pledge to invest $350 billion in the United States. Kim called on Vance to work together to quickly implement other key security agreements outlined in a joint fact sheet released in November, including building nuclear-powered submarines and securing civil uranium enrichment. The two sides also reaffirmed that both countries are open to dialogue with North Korea and agreed to maintain close communication on this issue. The U.S. has imposed sanctions on 6 individuals and 2 entities linked to North Korea's attempts to place IT workers in U.S. companies. According to the Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control on Thursday local time, the sanctioned individuals have been carrying out fraud by using forged documents and stolen identities to gain employment in companies in the U.S. and allied countries. Most of their wages have been confiscated by the regime. The Treasury Department said such schemes earned Pyongyang an estimated $800 million in 2024 alone, generating revenue to fund its development of weapons of mass destruction. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.